Going on to the power gen side, can you quickly talk about your work in that? Because again, if you've approached L&H from the mining side, maybe the power gen side is not the first thing that comes to mind. So can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about projects you've done there?
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, you talk about kind of a couple of opposites there with the Powder River Basin, the coal industry that Dustin was talking about, and then wind turbines. So a little bit opposite, but what it is that we're scaling and taking our mechanical and metallurgical expertise and adapting it to a new industry. So that's all we're doing with that. We've developed some technology, done a lot of R&D on rebuilds of the main shafts in those wind turbines, and that helps the customer. The life of those isn't always predictable. So when they do come out and they have a failure on a bearing on a wind main shaft, we can take that into our shop. We've developed a procedure that will bring that back to as good of new, and be a confident rebuild that can go back into service, rather than some of the past technology that was being used. It was just a band-aid. It wasn't a solid fix. So we've really, kind of the same thing that we've done on the mining side, is try to make it better.
Dustin, on that side though, when you go in, you started, 20 years ago, I'm thinking L&H wasn't doing in this industry, of course. So how do you end up in that industry? Does someone come to you? It's through market, or, a referral? Market?
Yeah.
What's that process?
Well, that's a good question. So basically what happened on that situation is the mining industry as a whole, we had a major slowdown. And what that did to our company is it forced us to look outside of the box. So we basically ran around and tried to find a guy or a person that was well known in that industry. And we found that person, we brought him in, hired him out, made him a product line manager. And it's always, I'd like to say that we're geniuses and we can go bring in a new product line and we can fire it up and get it going. But it's always a long road to get it to where it's a viable product line. And it was about a 2-year process, and we finally started getting in these wind shafts. And then we have to go through this iteration of machining, welding, building up, remachining, and trying to find a process that works for that industry. So basically it was a diversification move because the mining industry was so slow at the time that we had to look outside of just the mining industries. And that brought on, you got power generation now, Department of Defense, space. So we're basically looking at and developing new product lines all the time, we're getting into new industries because of that slowdown.
So does that really change the way that L&H even approached business development in a long-term way as well then? Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So now when we look at product lines or business development in particular, it's really a market research and seeing if there's something in there that we can add value to the customer or to that customer base. So we spend a lot of time on the front end researching and making sure that there's a sweet spot in there for us, because it just doesn't we don't always get that right. We've thrown good money after bad, but in general, it's something that we spend more time now researching the market, going to trade shows, talking with potential customers, talking with competitors, and before we make that move to actually invest in a person. And usually it lands on a person. You find the right person and just give them a key task, say boots on the ground, go figure this out for us, and we'll fund you, but here's your timeline that you need to stay within. And that seems to be very, very effective. I think that the mistakes that we made in the past is, hey, let's go look at this, but we had somebody dabbling in that all the time. And now
desk sort of approach.
Yeah. So that seems to be a big a big improvement that we've made over time. And it's not an original thought, you know, it took some time to realize it, and then get to reading books and recognize that somebody's already done it and they're doing it very well. So we just mimic that.
Well, it comes to mind, GE had that approach. When you try something new, put your best people on it. And I think one of the approaches to that, and I'm curious of your feedback on it, is that it also lets the organization know, even people that aren't involved in that project, know that you're taking this seriously, you know, that you're putting someone on it that does cost money, that is important to the company. And so there's automatically everybody sort of knows this is an important thing to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when we make that commitment to bring somebody on, we have a introduction phase, kind of try to get them immersed in the company, have them come to corporate headquarters, and then go hit all the facilities and get them immersed into our culture. Not only does that help that person get up and going, but it also helps everybody understand that, hey, we're going to make this investment. This is what it looks like. Here's what we hope to gain out of it. And we have, with our marketing team, we have some quarterly updates that go out from our president, Mike Wandler. And he'll do these quarterly and kind of discuss what's going on in the company, what direction we're going. So it seems to help get people's mind wrapped around. And what's amazing about it is you start doing that, and it makes your employees start looking at these other industries, and they'll start bringing stuff to us because they want to help out, which is really cool. So.